Judge Pies have been sworn in, Your Honor. You may be seated. Young lady, have a seat, please.
Ms. Wise, you and Mr. Knox dated for a period of time, not very long, 6 months or so?
Yes.
No, not true. Never.
I'm not talking to you. And according to your complaint, during that time, you made a series of loans to him for various things. Gambling debt, some DUI fines that he had because he had lost his license. While Mr. Knox acknowledges that you gave him gifts, he says none of them were loans. None of them involved gambling. So, when did the two of you start this relationship?
I met him online and on a website called MySpace. My friends told me it was a good place to meet people, so I signed up and I got a message from him. I got the message at the beginning of January.
January of 2005?
Yes.
When did you give him this first chunk of money?
July.
So between January of 2005 and July, there were no loans?
Correct.
Did you see him? Were you dating?
We were not dating at that point. We only dated for like a month.
What month?
Month of June to July.
So between January when you met and June, did you communicate on the internet or not at all?
We talked on the phone. I went up and visited him, and we talked online too.
But in June you started dating?
Yes.
And the first money that you gave him was in July?
Correct.
That should have been a clue. What was the money for?
It was for, he went out and gambled when he was out drinking, and he gambled $1,000 and only had $500.
All right. How did you...
He called me and he told me about it.
I want you to tell me exactly what he said to you when he called you.
He told me that he had went gambling and he bet $1,000 on a card game, and he only had a $500, and the guy was going to come over the next day and physically harm him if he didn't have the money. And he didn't have the money the next day. He called me and told him that the guy had came over and physically harmed him, and then I went up the day after and gave him the $400.
That's a little stilted, what you just said to me. First he called and told you that if you didn't give him the money, he was going to get hurt.
Yes.
You didn't give him the money. Then he called you back and told you that the man came and actually hurt him?
Yes.
How did he hurt him?
He brought a couple of his buddies over and they got in a fight outside his house, I guess. That's what I was informed of.
When you went up there, were there any physical signs of his being assaulted?
Yes, his jaw was bruised.
Was?
Yes.
Black and blue?
Yeah.
And you gave him the $400?
Yes.
What did he say to you?
He said, "Thank you, I will repay you as soon as I can."
When was the next sum of money that you gave him?
August 15th. It was for his DUI for $250.
Tell me how that came about.
He called me and he informed me that he did not have enough to make his monthly payment for his DUI, and he asked if he could borrow some money. And I said, "How much do you need?" He said, $250. So I said, okay.
Well, did you know he had a DUI?
Yes, he informed me.
When?
Back in January.
How did he tell you he had a DUI?
We just were talking, and he just told me we got on the subject of driving, and he's like, "Well, I got a DUI."
Did he drive?
No.
So you did the driving?
Correct.
When did you lose your license?
November of last year.
How many DUIs have you had?
Just that one.
Must have been a bad one. Were you in an accident?
No. I swerved over. I went and left the center, and a police officer drove by me and gave me a DUI. I did the sobriety test and stuff, and then went to court. I tried fighting it, but then we just really gave up on it because I admitted to it, so.
Well, what do you mean you tried fighting it?
Well,
take your hands out of your pocket.
Because they wrongfully arrested me, too. They were giving me, I passed all my field sobriety tests, and I blew the legal limit, and then they were shoving me around, pushing me around, slamming me into my car, just saying a bunch of obnoxious things to me, making fun of my name. It's a bunch of stupid stuff. We tried fighting it, and then, because I had another charge.
You tried fighting it because?
I had more than one charge with it. I had the DUI, and I had a concealed weapon, too. It was just a pellet gun under my seat, so they're going to try and charge me with that, so they just dropped that down to nothing, and I just took the DUI.
Is this your first arrest?
Yeah.
Jacked out with the police?
Not really, no.
Where had you been drinking?
I was with my girlfriend at the time, then, and we were at our friend's house, having a couple drinks, and then I left and took her home. And then on my way home, I got in trouble.
And what kind of fine did you have to pay?
$1,500.
And how much time did you have to pay it?
2 months. I got sentenced in May of '05. I had 2 months to pay it.
Did you call her and ask her for $250?
No, she gave it to me.
So she gave you the $250?
I told her all about, we were talking on the phone. We never dated, first of all. Second of all, we were talking on the phone. I told her about my situation.
Tell me what you told her about your situation.
I just told her I got a DUI, and she's like, well...
Just a sec, she already knew that. She knew that from January. I'm asking you about the money that you were short.
Oh, I told her because she's like, well, you want to go out? I'm like, well, I have no money. I might have to save
Not
up for my
true.
fines. I'd save up for my fines and stuff. And then she's like, well, I can help you out. I want to get you back on your feet, you know. So instead of her driving all the time, I'd be able to get my license back and pay my reinstatement fee. So she told me she would help me out. She never told me I had to pay her back. She never said anything about that.
Let's say, Mr. Knox, that she didn't say you had to pay her back. Don't you think you had to pay her back?
I was going to.
Don't you think
Yes.
that's the right thing to do?
I was going to do that. Yes, I was.
Right.
That's
Good.
what I was going to do.
That's what I like to hear. I don't like to hear bums standing in front of me. I like to hear people who act responsible. Because quite frankly, Mr. Knox, I could understand it if you said to me, you know, I met Miss Wise and I was involved with her and I cared deeply about her and we were involved in a relationship and I was short a little bit of money and she said, you know, honey, don't stress. I can advance it to you. I don't want you to worry about it. But according to you, you weren't involved with her. You never even dated.
Yes, we were.
You never even...
We did not date.
You never even dated. You never went out with her. So taking $250 from her, that would make you a bum. Go stand on a corner with a cup. Now I want you to tell me about the $400 for the gambling.
There was no gambling thingy. That is not true. That is just the most untrue thing I've ever heard in my entire life, actually. There was no, I got a gambling debt. I mean, I'm not a small guy. I'm not just going to have some guy come to my own house and beat me up in my own house. That's not true at all. I had no bruises on my face, nothing. I owe nobody money. The money she did give me, that was towards my DUI.
And how much was that?
That was $200. Pretty sure it was $200.
No. We're talking about two different amounts of money.
Oh.
Mr. Knox, we're talking about two different amounts of money. One was $250 for your fines, but you had additional amounts of money that you owed. How much was the second amount of money that you owed?
About $400.
All right. And what did you owe the $400 for?
My reinstatement fee on my license. My fines were already paid off by
Just a
then.
second. We're going to get there. On your best day, you are not as smart as I am on my worst day. Do you understand that?
That's true.
So while it's very possible that you took the $400 and paid your fines with it that you got from her, right? Maybe the story was, if you don't help me out, I'm going to get hurt.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
What did he ask you for your address?
Christy Wise says ex-boyfriend Nick Knox owes for 2 different loans. Nick claims Christy was never his girlfriend.
Now, since, Mr. Knox, you say that you were not involved in a relationship with her, and since you chose to take money from her rather than standing on the street corner with a cup, or in the alternative, getting a second job if you needed money.
I didn't.
Now listen to me. If you need extra money, what you do is you work for it. You don't ask other people who may be more smitten with you than you are with them. Money when you know you have no feeling for them just because you're a bum. Now, the only thing I'm doing to him now, it's hurting him a little bit, right?
Right.
Which hopefully will make you feel a little bit better. It certainly makes me feel better. Because I don't like people who take advantage of other people.
Clip 1, around 6 o'clock. At 6 minutes, the judge calls him out hard. Accepting money without commitment? That's unjust enrichment in plain sight. Viewers feel the tension rise. Was he exploiting her trust?
So she would call me every single night, at least a dozen times a night. I have phone bill records to prove it, that she would call me at least a dozen times a night.
What would she say when she called you?
She'd call, I wouldn't answer because I'm at work, so I can't answer my phone. So she'd just keep calling and
Did
calling.
you ever call her back?
No, because she'd call private numbers.
Well, then let me ask you this question, Mr. Knox.
I couldn't call her back,
Mr.
though.
Knox, let me ask you this question, sir. You knew how to communicate with her via the internet. And if what you wanted to do was to sever all ties with her, because according to you, she was becoming obsessive. You didn't know that because you didn't speak to her, so you don't know whether she was calling you 100 times because she said, you know, you owe me money, and if you don't want to have anything to do with me, fine, but at least give me the money you owe me.
Sometimes when she would call, I'd answer my phone, and she'd say nothing about money. She'd just be like, oh, hey, what do you want to go out? That's all she'd say.
Fine. And what did you say to her?
I said, no, I'm at work.
Fine. Why don't you just say to her, Christy, listen, I'm not interested in you socially. I have a girlfriend, or I'm involved in school and work and whatever. I know I have to give you some money, and I'm going to give it back to you, $100 a week until it's all paid off.
I tried doing that.
When did you try doing that?
I told her that I was going to, I asked her if she could send me in an email or something, her address to her house. I'd send her $100 checks every week in the mail. I told her I'd give her this, like she said she was going on vacation.
Just a second. Did he ever ask you for your address to send you money?
Yes, he did, but I had previously offered him the option to pay me every week, and he denied it.
Just a second. What did he ask you for your address for?
To mail me a check, so I didn't have to see me.
So why didn't you give it to him?
Because I asked him to do it
No,
sooner.
listen to me. So if he said to you, give me your address so I can send you a check, why didn't you give it to him?
Because he didn't want to do it when I wanted to, and I had already filed a claims court when he called me.
It was before. It was before claims
Listen,
court.
Miss Wise, don't throw the baloney at me.
Ma'am, I have a voicemail that he did send me, and it's him acknowledging he owes me money, the full amount.
Does he say what amount?
Yes, he does.
Oh, let me hear it.
In the mail from the name Mr. McCord saying I owe you $1,086. Why don't we just do this? Every week I'll send you a check in the mail for $200 on the button every single week until it's paid off. I'll call you back later, and that's about it.
You hear $1,086? Good.
That's what he said.
Okay, well, that's an acknowledgement of a debt, Mr. Knox.
I knew I had to pay her back. I know
Well,
that.
then why didn't you say that to me in here and save us all a lot of time and
That's what
trouble?
I was
got
gonna
other
do.
cases to handle today.
I tried settling it with her. She wouldn't. She wanted to come here.
Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $1,086. Ms. Monet, this is your complaint. You and Mr. Cook hooked up and lived together for a period of time.
Right.
You leased an apartment together. The understanding made half of the expenses on the apartment. Shortly after you moved in, he stopped working. Stayed home, according to you, 7 months. He did not pay his share of the rent or utilities.
Right.
You won it. What kind of job did you lose, sir?
When I moved in with Janelle, I was working as a caretaker for a friend of mine who needed someone to take care of him. I had free room and board with the job. So when she asked me to do that, I was walking away from free room and board plus a small salary to move in with her. She told me that from the word go, there was no concerns about money, that I was to feel no burden about this. This whole gig she's pulling here is just about her wanting to get a payday, so she went through her money like she was a queen of town and going and taking everybody out all over the place.
In you know something, Mr. Cook? My problem is with a 37-year-old man who, for whatever reason, decides to live off a stranger. I don't understand that kind of mentality. I see it all the time. What
Who said I wanted to live off a stranger?
inspire a person who's 37 years old
Right.
to think that there is some sort of an entitlement for them to, according to you, said, I did a lot of chores. I did the cooking. I cleaned up. I took care of myself.
After gastric bypass surgery, she needed me to do basically everything.
You said to me, sir,
It took
that
her-
I'm speaking, that she needed help for a month. Understood. Had turned into 7 months when you did nothing.
3 months, she was unable to do for herself. I took care of everything. Then I got another job back at a place I used to work before. She proceeded to help me lose the job, basically, by wanting to be up all night with her friends out in the living room while I was trying to go to sleep in the bedroom. She did nothing to try and help. So I ended up losing the job after about a month in time, and it took another month and a half before I got another job. All I wanted from her was to provide an environment where we could both live together. I could go back to work. She was conducive to that and contribute to the home.
Miss Monet, you sold his property. When he left certain property in your house.
He had next to nothing when
I don't care if he had next to nothing. When he moved in, a lot of the stuff was purchased. And I guarantee you, if I got down to it with you, it would have been purchased for him.
Right.
The fact that you don't love him anymore and that he left doesn't mean that you get to take back the things that you bought him.
Right.
So not only did you take them back, but there were certain things that you sold. What did you sell?
A computer and a toolbox.
What kind of computer?
It was an old Dell that was built by Mr. Cook.
Well, if it was built by him, then it wasn't
Wouldn't be a
yours.
Dell.
Right.
Why did you sell it?
Because I needed money to pay the rent.
How much did you sell it for?
$100.
That's not why you sold it. I don't even believe that you sold it. Who'd you sell it to?
A friend of mine,
Whose name is?
Steve.
Uh-huh. Steve what?
Steve.
And how do you know him?
He's a mutual friend of ours.
You know him?
I know him, yes, Your Honor.
You know if he bought your computer?
I know he didn't buy my computer.
You know he did not. How do you know, Mr. Cook, that Mr. Peterson did not buy the computer?
Because I confronted him on the very issue. He did not have my computer, Your Honor.
When did you confront him?
After I was aware of the fact that my computer was no longer there, along with 3 toolboxes, not one, and all various other possessions that were mine long before our relationship ever began.
Who did you sell the toolboxes to?
He has the toolboxes.
That's a lie, Your Honor.
You told me that you sold them in your complaint.
I got them back after that because he wanted them back, so I felt bad that I had sold them, and I bought them back from the person that I sold them to.
No.
Yes, I most certainly did.
Fine. Who did you sell them to?
I sold them to a friend of mine. His name's Francisco. He bought them for $60, and
60
I bought
bucks.
them back.
Wouldn't pay for
Can
the
I
clothes on
ask you
one's
this
floor.
question, Ms. Monet?
Yes?
As for his personal belongings, when Christopher left home, and the means of recouping some of my losses and supporting myself, I had to sell his tools. That's what you wrote in your complaint. Did you say, I bought them back because I felt badly? Why wouldn't you tell me that you purchased them back and gave them back to him?
Because I just recently did this. Just last week.
You mean after this lawsuit, or you just recently did it?
Yes.
All right. Well, you had an opportunity today to review your complaint and to sign it.
Right?
Today. Nowhere did you modify this complaint, right?
Right.
I mean, do you think that there's something wrong with me? They don't
No.
keep me here because I'm good looking. You lived rent-free for how long?
Rent-free is
Rent-free.
is there not a exchange of me doing activities or work for her that's also...
No. No.
That was
There
the
was-
arrangement we had.
I don't believe that.
That was the arrangement we had, Your
I
Honor.
don't believe it.
I'm telling you that's what it was. whether
I
you
don't
believe
care
it or
what
not.
you're telling me, sir. I don't believe a 37-year-old
She had
man. I'm
gastric bypass.
speaking with any kind of character says, you take care of me, I'm going to do the cooking.
It wasn't. She had gastric bypass surgery.
That's fine. Then if you love her and you want to help take care of her, you do that. For a week, 2 weeks, a month, as long as she needs you to help her take care of her, that's what you do if you love somebody. But you don't do it as a livelihood.
That took
I'm speaking, sir. You lived there not a month, not 2 months, not 3 months. You lived there 7 months, and in 7 months you didn't pay any rent. Consider that your tools. You got it? But you're not getting any rent money from him, madam, because he had no right to sell his property.
Right.
So whatever
Right.
money that you got for his property, put it towards the rent.
Okay.
Sounds to me like the two of you deserve each other. Your case is dismissed. Yours too. Goodbye. You have a child.
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
How old is that child?
He's 7.
And who's the child's father? Were you married to his father?
Yes, I was.
For how long?
From June 2nd of 96 to June 2nd of 2000.
And it is my understanding that your son lives with his father.
Currently, yes, Your Honor.
And you have visitation.
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
And that visitation was ordered supervised by the court.
By the court, yes.
I assume that that was after a trial or after a hearing that the court ordered supervised visitation.
It was based on an ex parte, including my son's court-appointed attorney, in regards to that my son had told a psychologist that he was injured while he was with me, in which he was not.
Well, whatever. I'm not getting into the whys. I'm just indicating that that's what this part of this lawsuit is about, because the court
Correct.
ordered supervised visitation, and the court ordered you to pay the supervisor, the person who was to supervise that visitation, and the incident in question involved Miss Konia, who was the supervisor of a visitation period that you were having with your son. And according to your complaint, Ms. Konia, you charge a fee for supervised visitation. You must be on a court list of supervisors. And on a particular day, when you were supervising the visit, you terminated the visit. It is your claim for cause because of Ms. Heald's inappropriate actions. And she stopped payment on the check that she had given you for the supervised visitation. And you want that money plus your bounce check fee.
That's correct.
The defendant says that it was you who acted inappropriately. She had a basis to stop payment on the check, and she is counterclaiming for your inappropriate behavior and the emotional distress that that caused her. Now, when did you begin to do the supervised visitation with James and his mother?
This was the first visit that I had done myself. My partner here, Alan, had done 2 visits prior.
Tell me what happened.
Prior to any visits occurring, I had done what's required by law called an orientation intake session. I had done that separately with each party. At that time, each party was advised of what the requirements and the rules were of the supervised visitation. So I have the orientation rules and guidelines contract, which was signed by the defendant. I think it was on October 3rd of 2004. And if you want to refer in specific to policies number 14, where it says disparaging remarks and intentional disrespect.
I can read.
Sorry. Sorry.
The policy says that the person who is being supervised, the adult person, shall not, either verbally or non-verbally, make any disparaging remarks against any adult party, which clearly, in plain English, says that Ms. Heald is not to make any disparaging remarks about the child's father to the child or within earshot of the child. All right, so tell me what happened on the 29th.
So anyway, so I had done the orientation. We had done 2 visits. Both the visits prior to had been done with Alan, and I had done a visit on October 29th. We agreed to meet at Balboa Park. That was the meeting place. The visit ended up moving to Seaport Village. The defendant decided to take the child to a pizza place for dinner. The child's behavior was becoming increasingly more problematic.
How?
And I noticed when we were at Balboa Park, there was like a channel of water, kind of like a fountain, but still water. And the child repeatedly put his feet into this water. I mean, it was nighttime, and she actually told him to stop, but the child didn't listen.
Okay, so he was misbehaving. He was 7 years old.
Yeah, but she...
Okay, well, let's get to the pizza parlor, because right now you haven't canceled the visit, you haven't stopped the visit, you're at the pizza parlor.
Yes. When we were in the pizza place, he had flattened himself on the floor. He was upset about not wanting... He wanted to have a particular kind of soda, and she didn't want to get it for him. At that point, I don't like to intervene in the visit.
So he threw a tantrum, and he got on the floor.
He threw a tantrum. They sat down, and I don't know, she went up to the counter for a second. He took a Beanie Baby and he threw it at her. Once again, examples of the child's behavior being out of control.
What else?
Then they sat down. She began to, this is where things started to go downhill. She began to disparage the father. She began to attribute the child's behavior.
What you're doing is editorializing. I'd like you to give me
I will tell you exactly what she
said.
Okay, I have a termination memorandum.
Clip 2, around 10 o'clock. At 10 minutes, the voicemail changes everything an admission of debt. In U.S. law, that's powerful evidence. Audience shock hits. Did he just prove her entire case himself?
Terminated. She just continued. She said, I would appreciate it if the stepmother wouldn't show up. It's of grave concern to me because she's not allowed to be here, is what she said.
She said to you or she said to the child?
She directed that to me. Okay?
I assume she directed that to you, not to the child.
So after repeated attempts for me to change the subject, she didn't do it. So I terminated the visit. I got on the phone and I called the custodial parent, the father, to come pick up the child. And I asked her also to leave the restaurant, and she refused to leave. Okay? I have never had to do this before, but I ended up having to call local law enforcement, which I have the right to do by law.
Okay.
And when this was happening, she made a comment to me. She said that I'm not paying for this visit. I want my money.
Tell me your name.
My name's Alan Glick.
Mr. Glick, this is your partner?
Yes.
How many supervised visits did you conduct for James and the defendant?
2.
Were they eventful or uneventful?
They were eventful for me in that I noticed I had a document above and beyond the normal form I fill out, what I observed in lack of parenting skills.
And when did you fill out those forms?
These are filled out as I'm sitting there in the visit.
May I see them, please?
Yes. These are notes I take. There's some abbreviations there I use. And this is just so whatever happens, I don't have to rely on my memory. I have the notes to rely on.
Okay, not so terrible. All in all, not so terrible.
Well, nothing specific, just...
Yeah, nothing specific.
Just
nothing
lack
specific.
of ability to set boundaries and limits.
Okay. Well, lack of ability to set controls and limits is an interesting, rather amorphous statement. You would agree with that, sir? You would agree with the fact that if a biological parent, because of their own problems, and it's clear that Ms. Heald has her own problems, which is the only reason why a court sets supervised visitation for a parent. So you would agree that if you're only seeing your child for 3 hours once a week or 3 hours twice a week, you don't like to set controls, you don't like to set boundaries, you tend to let the child do whatever they want to do, which is not necessarily good parenting, but understandable within the context of a 3-hour visitation. So now I have the gist of what happened from your perspective. Now I come to you. I want to see the order of visitation and the judge's decision in order formulating that order of visitation.
Okay, Your Honor, it's right here.
And I'd like to see the report from the child's lawyer
That's the report from the child's lawyer. He's court appointed per my request.
This isn't the order setting supervised visitation.
Actually, there's not supervised visitations anymore. The only reason why it was a supervised visitation is because my 7-year-old son said...
Listen to me. I can read. This says that the doctor recommends that if supervised visitation with the mother is to be lifted, that the visits with the mother be of short durations, 2 or 3 hours a visit. And then it goes on to say that the mother should, in addition, be engaged in supportive psychotherapy. What I want is the order where the judge ordered supervised visits, not your request for lifting it. Do you have that?
That was the order that was given for the last current standing order.
When?
When? The most recent court date stating that there is no longer supervised visitations.
You're not following me. I mean, is this a passive-aggressive discussion that we're having? In what year was supervised visitation entered?
2004, approximately in October.
So at some point there was an order that said you don't have overnights, you don't have unsupervised visits, you have supervised visits. And what you're telling me is you do not have a copy of any of the reports that were used for the judge.
That order was only based on that my son was seen by a psychologist and he was coerced into saying that he was injured while with me and he wasn't.
Listen to me.
So they lifted the order. That's the only reason why they had it, Your Honor.
Listen to me, madam.
Yes.
I don't believe you.
I'm sorry you don't, but I'm stating the truth.
I don't believe you. If you had the order, I would perhaps believe you.
That's the order.
But if
that
what you're
Randy
telling
asked
me is that
bring.
the judge based their order on the statement of a child that was false.
Yes,
I don't
Your
buy
Honor.
that.
Well, it's true.
No, don't buy that. Now, Dr. That's the child's psychiatrist or psychologist?
Correct, Your Honor.
The observation of Dr. this visitation supervisor, the undersigned, and the prior psychologist who worked with the mother and the minor child routinely observed the mother's frustration with controlling and redirecting the minor child's behavior, as well as the mother's penchant for involving the child in court and adult issues. The first therapist appointed by the court to assist the mother in developing a more appropriate relationship with Jimmy and enhancing her parenting skills ultimately gave up in frustration, indicating he could not make any progress with the mother. So this is not an issue of short duration. This is a problem that's been going on for a long time, madam.
Your Honor, I originally had 93% custody of my son.
Well, something that you're doing,
Miss Hell,
something that you're doing, if you originally had 93% custody of your child, and if you don't have a mental illness, and I'm not sure whether you do or you don't. So
I don't.
I don't know whether you do or you don't. But if I were a parent who had 97% custody, and then it was cut down to 37% custody, and then it was cut down to visitation, and then it was cut down to supervised visitation, I would say to myself, wake up. Maybe something I'm doing is not right. Instead of saying everybody else has a problem. My son has a problem because he lies. This visitation supervisor has a problem because he lies. The child psychologist has a problem. My son's lawyer has a problem. I might say to myself, maybe my behavior is inappropriate because I started out being the custodial parent, and all of a sudden I can see my son 3 hours a week with a stranger that I have to pay. So I would say, that to me would be a wake-up call.
My concern is that the San Diego court system has put my son and I through the judicial process of I present the truth that my former husband and his current wife, who was a secretary originally, in the aspect of manipulating and controlling, and basically when she has 2 older teenagers, that my son was coming back with behaviors as in acting like a 17-year-old or 18-year-old that weren't well brought up. So my son was also stating comments about his dad.
You're not getting it. Madam, I sat in the family court for a quarter of a century.
I
ran the system there, and I do not remember a case where a mother had custody of a child or children, and that was reduced to supervised visitation unless there was a serious problem. And if you're telling me that in my career, which spanned 30,000 cases, that yours was unique, perhaps that's true. I doubt it. Because I'm hearing what you're saying, and what you're saying is exactly what I heard from parent after parent who said, I'm telling the truth, they're all off base. And all I'm saying to you is I'm giving you real good advice. Unless you are mentally ill, I would start examining myself, my own behavior, in order to ensure that I correct that behavior or modify it so that you can again become a meaningful part of your son's life. And stop resenting his father, who married a secretary, and stop resenting two teenage boys with whom your 7-year-old son probably has a reasonable relationship, but maybe learning things that are a little beyond his years. You better get on with it. Now, you want to tell me why you stopped payment on this check?
Yes. To be
just get to it.
To be quite honest, I have no resentment to my former husband because he was
Would you get
domestically violent.
to it? Because I'm past all that.
I'm thankful I'm not married to him.
I'm
just to let you
past
know.
all that.
The stop payment on the check was based on all I wanted to do was see my son. I love my son dearly, and due to the fact that he told his psychologist, because he was coerced by my former husband and his wife.
Now listen to me. That's not my question to you, and you're still not getting it. You see, you have this fixed thing. You want somebody to hear you. I'm not hearing you. I'm not hearing you. I'm hearing that you have a problem sticking to a judicial question, which at this point is, why did you stop payment on the check?
Yes, Your Honor. I stopped payment on the check because she violated her own contract.
How? That's what I want to hear.
She violated her own contract because she allowed Jim to bring his current wife there with the baby. She showed up a half hour late to the drop-off and pickup place. In the regards to the exchange, she originally had the exchanges with Alan Glitch 2 times prior from 1 to 4 on Sundays, in which in the supervised agreement was never to be a person that's an agent of hers, which is ethically, I believe, unethical because it's her husband.
I only have one question for you, madam.
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you, in fact, say in sum and substance that kind of behavior is unacceptable to me? You may learn that at home with your father and stepmother, but that behavior is not acceptable here.
No, Your Honor, I
What
never
did you say? What did you say?
Basically, my son never threw a Beanie Baby at me.
I didn't ask you that. I said, what did you say to him?
About the behavior? I said, I have a Gatorade. When we went to the...
What did you say to him?
When he wanted a soda, I stated, you know, Jimmy, I have Gatorade for you. I was handling it appropriately. Monica started freaking out, saying that, you know, his dad said he couldn't have a soda. She started saying she was canceling the visitation, that I wasn't his parent or mother, so she was saying disparaging remarks about me.
So what you're saying is you never said anything about
I never said anything disparaging. I'm not a rude person.
Well, that's been a long-term problem, madam.
Well, that's
according to this. That's according to this that you gave me. It's been a long-term problem. What you're saying is that you never said anything to James about his father and or his stepmother. Nothing during the visit. Is that what you're saying?
No, I did not.
I don't believe you.
I was just wanting to see my son and spend time with him due to the circumstances.
I don't believe you. I don't think
Monica stated I wasn't my son's mother. She called the police. I said I had to call my son's court-appointed attorney to find out that I'd only met this lady once based on a list. And she's demanding that I leave and abandon my son in a restaurant, screaming out that I'm not his mother.
Madam! You're not abandoning him. You're leaving him with somebody that the court has indicated is an appropriate supervisor. You can't cancel her check.
In which
you can't cancel her check.
She was screaming at me.
You cannot cancel her check. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $130, which is the amount of the check plus the canceled check fee. And you have a counterclaim for $2,500. That counterclaim is
versus Connell. Parties have been sworn in, Judge. You may be seated.
What's your first name?
Amanda.
How old are you, Amanda?
19.
How long have you been living on your own?
Since January.
You go to school or you work?
I go to school and work.
What school do you go to?
Eastern Connecticut State University.
And what about you? How old are you?
20.
You go to school also?
Yes.
Same school?
No.
What school?
Three Rivers Community College.
How long have you known each other?
Since freshman year of high school.
According to the complaint, you girls decided to live together with one boy or two boys?
It was just one to begin with.
Which boy? Raise your right hand. Had to think about that for a minute.
Yep.
You are John.
Yep.
John with the paintball gun.
Yeah.
And I gather that after you moved in, you're going to tell me when things didn't work out. And according to your complaint, the defendant moved out owing you some money. Owed you money for rent and a deposit. She says that she owes you a little bit for rent, right?
Mostly for...
Not what you said here. You said you owed her a little bit for rent. Not as much as she wants, but that you have a counterclaim because you claim that she has some of your property and she assaulted you.
She threw a soda bottle at me.
Just say yes or no.
Yes.
I'm going to get to your story in a second. When did you sign your lease?
A little bit before January 1st when we moved in.
And what was the...
Clip 3. Around 1500 hours. At 15 minutes, selling someone's property crosses a legal line conversion. The judge flips the narrative fast. Viewers feel conflicted. Who's really in the wrong here?
On February 4th, I packed up some of my belongings. I was not planning to move out. She assumed I was.
I don't care. You were there in February.
Until the 4th.
Then you owe the rent for February.
The reason I moved out, though, was because initially I called up the landlord and I had called the police also because she had become very temperamental. She wrote on my door with a permanent marker. She threatened me with retaliation. And so I was calling the police, talking to them what I should do about this because I don't feel safe living with her. She's going to be throwing things at me, threatening me. I have a brand new car and I don't want anything happening to it because she's the type of person who will egg a person's car if she doesn't like them.
Well, let me ask you this question, Ms. Connell. When did she do this to you, these things?
On February 2nd, which was a Wednesday, she threw a soda bottle at me.
That's the assault you're talking about?
Yes.
And she wasn't a bottle. According to your answer,
can.
it was a can.
A can or a bottle.
Did she hit you with it?
Yes.
Where?
In the leg?
Did you go to a doctor?
No.
Why not?
Because it was just like a bruise or something that it left.
What do you mean, just like a bruiser or something?
It was just a bruise that it left.
Do you have a photograph of it?
I had a camera that had pictures on it of all the damages that she did to the house, the 2 doors
I'm
that
not
she broke.
interested in the house. I asked you about your leg.
Well, there was pictures on it, but she stole it out of my room. That's not true, Your Honor.
Let's move on from the assault. February 2nd, you had this altercation.
Yes.
You moved this.
Yes.
You say that Ms. Connell had trouble coming up with rent and deposit.
Yes.
Go ahead, let me hear.
Okay. When we first moved in, we each had to pay $647.50 for the first month's rent, deposit, all that. And she could only come up with $300, so I covered her. It was $347.50. And since I handle all the bills, everything's in my name, I request that all the rent is made by January 20th so I can send it out for February 1st. On January 20th, Alyssa still didn't have any money because she was suspended from work. So I covered her then too, so I sent the rent out on January 20th, and it would have been $400.
So you covered her for that money?
Yes.
So far she owes you $747.50. Is that right?
Yes.
Am I right or am I wrong?
You're right.
Go ahead.
So then it was January 29th. I was babysitting for a family friend, and my little brother was at the house, but she wanted to have a party. And I said, that's fine, just keep it downstairs, keep it in the basement, because I have little kids here. And I don't want them seeing all that, because they were partying pretty hard. And then she kept bringing people upstairs, even though I asked her not to. So we locked the doors so that people that were coming there, we were all pretty drunk, were just like banging on the door, and we were like, we wouldn't let them upstairs. So one of them threatened John, and that's when John shot the paintball gun out in the yard. And Alyssa was really mad. She came upstairs and she started screaming at him. She was really, really drunk. So she was like yelling at him, and then started yelling at me, and she ran at me like a chimpanzee. And obviously I knew she was really drunk and I wasn't going to sit there and fight with her, so I just let her. She left. She took her bottle of Captain and she left. Then on the 3rd of February, she called John and said, because we weren't letting her party there anymore, that it wasn't fun living there anymore and she didn't want to live there, so she was moving out. On the 5th, she came back, took her bed and most of her belongings. On the 7th of February, the room smelled disgusting, so I finally went in there. Well, actually, James went in there and trying to find what smelled, and found 2 bags of rotten frozen meatballs. That was the smell. It smelled revolting.
Is that right, James?
Yes.
And what were you doing with meatballs in your room?
I don't think they were mine, so I don't know what she's talking about. I wouldn't have meatballs in my room.
Maybe one of your friends brought the meatballs.
Nobody was in my room that night.
What kind of a party were you having?
Actually, to set the story straight, it wasn't my party. We had been having parties every Saturday except for the 22nd because it snowed that day. Then on the 29th, we had people calling us saying, hey, we heard you're having a party.
Who were they calling?
Mine and Amanda's cell phones. And actually,
anybody call your cell phone?
I'm sure people did.
Did you tell them that you were having a party?
No. Yes, she did. No, I did not. I never said that we were having a party.
Were you downstairs partying with your friends?
I was down there for a little bit, but I kept coming upstairs because I didn't even know half the people. Her friends were down there also, though.
Did she have small children upstairs?
Yes, she did.
So then I gather she did not go downstairs.
She was downstairs for a little bit. I was not.
No, I don't believe that. What happened to the rent? $747.50.
When we first moved in, it was one of those things where we had to come up with money because the guy wanted us to sign the lease. Because he
of course, that's what happened.
Yes, he was going back to Maryland. So I got money from my mother. She wrote me a $200 check, and then we said the rest of it would come up with along the way. So she covered some of it. She covered $135 of mine. And
well, she says she covered $347.50.
John gave $1,000.
I'm asking you about your money. I'm not interested in anybody else. She said she covered $347.50 for you. Is that correct?
No.
How much did she cover for you?
I'm not sure of these. I want to say $135 she covered of mine because she was also paying for James to move in.
I'm talking about your money. Show me proof that you gave her $647.50, please.
I didn't give her all of it. I have
close to it. Around January. Can I have that, please? Around January.
Clip 4, around 25:00. At 25 minutes, parenting is on trial. The judge highlights a pattern, not a moment. In custody law, behavior trends matter. Audience feels the weight. Can she fix this?
Taking care of the assault. It's not nice if you threw a soda can at her. Value of personal property and damages. What personal property does she have of yours?
Do you want the list, or do you want me to just read it to you?
Read it to me.
Okay. I left 2 washers and a dryer.
That's a big item, washer and dryer.
She did leave those items. I have pictures of all the items that she left at the house that I took a couple days before I left for court. She just left them at the house. No one ever took them from her.
Fine, so you don't have a problem returning them?
No. She
Great.
can come get them whenever she wants.
Okay. I have a sofa. 2 sofas or
yes,
one?
Yes, there's 2 sofas.
2 sofas.
A chair.
A washing machine.
A
dryer. A chair.
Oh, she also left another chair and a punching bag.
Okay. You arranged for a truck in 5 days, madam? Go and pick up your stuff.
Yes. The fact of the matter is, though, is that I lost of sale on the washer and dryer because I could have sold it, and I had told John that I was going to come pick him up.
I don't care. 5 days from today, you go and pick up your stuff. Anything else?
Yes. 2 CDs, 5 belts, a black ruffled skirt, white dress pants, and my coat was damaged in the stuff that she packed up.
Do you have any of her property? Listen to me very carefully, madam. You owe her $747 in 5 days from today.
She changed the law.
And 5 days from today, she had every right to. You hadn't paid rent. It's not her problem that you got laid off from work. Get another job.
I had the job still.
Perfect. Then you should have paid rent. 5 days from today, is this your mother?
Yes.
Your mother, whoever else you want.
Parties in the matter of Brooks versus Collins. Step forward, please.
21-year-old warehouse worker John David Brooks is suing his former friend, 24-year-old service repairman Eric Collins, for wrecking his quad runner.
Mr. Brooks, you are the owner of an off-road vehicle. Mr. Collins was an acquaintance of yours. It is your claim that he rode your off-road vehicle without your permission and wrecked it. Mr. Collins acknowledges that he rode the vehicle, but he says the brakes were defective and he injured himself. He has medical bills. He is going to take his lawsuit against you to the Supreme Court, where he can sue you for a lot more money. That's what your answer is. Is that right?
Correct.
Good. Do you have a lawyer?
No, I don't.
When did this happen?
September the 28th, 2004.
What are you waiting for?
To pay my lawyer some more money.
Mr. Collins, you don't see stupid written across here, do you?
No, ma'am, I don't.
The kind of suit you are alleging is a suit in negligence. Lawyers do not accept money up front for that. What they do is they work on a contingency, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
So you have a lawyer that's charging you a fee?
Of course.
What is this lawyer's name?
I'd rather not say.
I'd rather you would.
Gerald.
How much have you paid him so far?
Not pertaining to this case here.
This case here, Mr. Collins.
Which I did not put a counterclaim against him. He put one against me.
What part of the English language don't you understand, Mr. Collins? I asked you how much money did you pay your lawyer so far?
I have not paid him a dime pertaining to this case.
Correct. I assume he's represented you with regard to other matters in the past, Mr.
Yes, ma'am.
Collins? How old are you, sir?
24.
What kind of matters has he represented you on, Mr. Collins? Is not an answer.
Just minor charges.
Criminal matters.
No.
What are you looking at him
matters.
for? What are you looking at him for? You didn't think that coming here was going to be a picnic, did you, Mr. Collins?
No, ma'am, I did not.
I'm not known as the picnic lady.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
When you do something wrong, you're supposed to take responsibility for it.
Of
then
course.
you can put a period and move on with your life and be a productive citizen.
Yes, ma'am.
As opposed to making excuses for why you do not accept responsibility and trying to give me a lot of who shot John. What is an off-road vehicle? Is not an answer.
The ATV, all-terrain vehicle.
That is a vehicle that is to be ridden off the
street.
Now, you allowed someone else to borrow your all-terrain vehicle. Who was that? Raise your hand.
Jason.
That would be you.
Yeah. Yes.
Clip 5, final segment 50:00. In the final moments, unauthorized use leads to liability. Taking that ATV? That's negligence territory. Viewers feel the impact. One bad decision, and everything crashes. Who pays?